I knew something was wrong the second I stepped out of the taxi and saw the moving crew. 4 men in gray uniforms stood on the sidewalk outside my building, leaning against stacks of boxes. My boxes with my handwriting on them. My handwriting. At first, I honestly thought they had the wrong address. Maybe one of my neighbors was relocating. Maybe someone had borrowed my old marker. Maybe anything other than the truth already pounding in my chest. But then one of the crew lifted his clipboard and asked, "You, Mia Harrison?" His tone was casual, like he was confirming a package delivery. When I nodded, he said the words that knocked the breath out of me. "We were told to clear out your condo. New owner gets the keys this evening." I stared at him, frozen, the sounds of the city muffling around me. New owner, my condo. And that was when my phone buzzed with a message from my mother that made my vision blur for a moment. "Do not be dramatic, it is done. We helped your brother stop acting like you are the only one who matters. You can figure out where to stay tonight." Then another bubble appeared. "Welcome to the real world, homeless girl." I never knew cruelty could be typed so casually, but they did not know something. Something even I had not said out loud yet. The condo they had just sold was not what they thought it was, and the moment they found out, everything would explode. I stood there on the sidewalk with the movers, waiting, people walking past, sun beating down on the back of my neck, my suitcase still at my feet from the ride home from the airport. Bali suddenly felt like a different lifetime. My vacation glow did not match the storm building inside my chest. I swallowed hard, forced myself to breathe, then said quietly, "Could you just give me a minute?" The mover nodded. "Take your time. This is a rough one, huh?" If only he knew. I stepped away, my hands shaking as I dialed my mother's number. She answered instantly, her tone sharp, impatient, as if I were the inconvenience, not the victim of whatever madness they had just unleashed. "You there yet?" she asked. "Good, saves me the trouble of explaining." "Mom," I whispered, "what did you do?" "What we had to," she snapped. "Tyler was drowning, Mia, drowning. He could not pay his debts. He could have gotten hurt. And you, Miss Fancy Corporate Salary, could afford to do something about it." "You sold my home?" I said. "My home?" "Oh, please," she scoffed. "What do you need a condo for? You are one person. Your brother is building a family someday. He needs stability, real responsibilities." The irony nearly made me laugh. Tyler, my 30-year-old brother who still lived like a college freshman with a platinum card? "Mom," I said slowly, "I never agreed to this, not once." "Well," she replied, "that is why we used the document you signed years ago, and thank goodness we did, or Tyler would have been ruined." I froze. What document? "That power of attorney thing," she said lightly. "The one you signed after your procedure when you were what, 24? We updated it a while ago." My heart dropped into my stomach. Updated without me? I pressed a hand to my forehead. "Mom, that document was for medical decisions, medical emergencies. It had nothing to do with property." She made a dismissive sound. "You are overreacting. You always do. And I am tired of the drama." Drama, that word again, the family weapon. My father cut in on speakerphone. "Mia, listen to your mother. This is for the good of the family." "The good of the family," I said, voice trembling. "You threw me out of my own home." "You will land on your feet," he said. "You always do." I closed my eyes. That was the problem. In their minds, I always would, so they never had to think twice about using me as their solution. "And Tyler?" I asked. "Where is he?" Before either of my parents could answer, another voice chimed in, bright, unbothered, almost smug. "I am right here," Tyler said, "and honestly, Mia, you should be thanking us." My jaw clenched. "Thanking you." "Yes," he said, tone full of self-pity. "If I went bankrupt, it would ruin the whole family. This helped everyone, including you. You are too young to be tied to one place anyway. Traveling, working, living in different neighborhoods. It will be good for you." I felt something inside me crack, but not in a way that broke me, more like a fracture that let the truth pour through. "So you all just decided that my life did not matter?" I said. "Oh, stop it," my mother snapped. "We are your parents. We know what is best for you." There it was, the line my parents had used my whole life, whether it was the college they wanted me to attend, the jobs they thought I should take, the money they believed I should be giving. "You will be fine," my father said again. "Just stop being dramatic." That word again, as if it could minimize theft, betrayal, homelessness. And then, Tyler, my brother, added quietly, "The new owners move in tonight, so you should probably hurry if you want to get your belongings." I stared at the movers behind me. My things were already in boxes. My breath shook once, but when I spoke again, my voice was steady. "Mom, Dad, Tyler." "Yes," my mother said sharply. "You did not sell what you thought you sold." There was a pause, long, confused. My father scoffed. "What does that mean?" But I was not going to tell them. Not yet. Not while I was standing in the street with 4 movers watching me. "You are all going to find out soon enough," I said. "Find out what?" Tyler demanded. "Mia, just say it." "No," I replied. "Not today." I ended the call before they could say another word. I stood still for a moment, the sounds of the street washing around me, my heart pounding in a rhythm I did not recognize. Anger, clarity, betrayal, power. Finally, I walked back toward the movers. "Let us load everything into storage," I said. "I need to make some calls." The foreman nodded sympathetically. "Rough family situation, huh?" I almost laughed. As they began lifting boxes into the truck, I stepped aside and pulled up a contact I had not called in years. Amanda Chen, attorney at law. I pressed dial. When she answered, I said the words that would ignite the war one never asked for but was more than ready to fight. "They sold my condo while I was on vacation, and I need your help, Amanda." Was silent for a beat, then her voice hardened. "Mia, listen to me. Do not talk to them again. Not one word. I am pulling up the trust documents now. We are going to fight this." I exhaled for the first time since Bali. "Good," I whispered, "because they have no idea what they have just started." And as the movers shut the truck doors, I turned away from the building that had been my home and walked toward the battle that was coming. By the time I reached the motel that night, the sky had already turned a deep indigo, and a heavy fog was rolling in from the harbor. Maybe that was appropriate. My life felt blurred and unreal, too. I let the door slam shut behind me, locked it twice, and leaned against the wall until my heartbeat settled somewhere closer to normal. The room smelled faintly of bleach and old air freshener. My condo used to smell like lavender candles and fresh linen. I sat on the edge of the stiff bed, staring at the peeling wallpaper, as if it might explain how everything I built could vanish in one afternoon. My suitcase lay half unzipped at my feet. Somewhere inside it, underneath rolled-up dresses from Bali, was the last normal version of my life. I pulled out my laptop instead. I needed answers. Before I completely unraveled, my hands trembled as I typed. In the password for the digital vault where I kept everything important, scans of documents, financial backups, emails, the original trust paperwork Amanda told me to upload years ago, just in case. I never imagined just in case would lead to this. The moment the folder opened, everything sharpened into focus. The trust documents sat right there, PDFs I had not looked at since my mid-20s. I clicked them open and read slowly, deliberately, letting each line sink into me. The condo was legally mine. Beneficiary, Mia Grace Harrison. Successor rights not transferable without beneficiary approval. Co-signature required for liquidation. There it was, in black and white. No matter what my parents believed, they never had the authority to sell my home. I felt my throat tighten. A strange mix of relief and fury twisted through me. They did not even bother to check the legality. They just assumed they could do whatever they wanted because historically they always did. And historically, I let them. Not anymore. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Call me when you are ready. AC, efficient as ever." I dialed her immediately. She answered on the first ring. "Mia, I have gone through the trust documents. You are safe legally, but this is going to get much worse before it gets better." I did not breathe for a moment. They can't keep the sale, right? They can't keep the money. "No," Amanda said, "but they have already misrepresented facts to the buyers. They have likely committed fraud by signing documents without you, possibly forgery as well. I will need more evidence before I can move." I sank back onto the bed. What do I do tonight? "Rest, if you can," she said. "Tomorrow morning we file. And Mia, do not respond to your family. Silence only. Let me handle it." I nodded, even though she could not see me. "Okay." After the call, I closed the laptop and lay back on the mattress. The spring squeaked faintly beneath me, like this space was not used to holding someone who had been through a betrayal heavy enough to collapse a life. The room was too quiet, my thoughts were too loud. Every memory of my parents and Tyler pressed against me. Birthdays, road trips, laughing in the kitchen, little brother sleepovers. I kept trying to fit those memories alongside what they had done, but they did not fit. They did not even ring true anymore. Maybe the family I thought I had never existed at all. A sudden knock at the door jolted me upright. 3 sharp raps. I froze. No one should know I am here. Another knock. "Mia, it is Rebecca from the front desk." I exhaled and opened the door. A few inches. She held a brown envelope. "Someone dropped this off for you." My stomach churned. Who? I did not see. They just said it was urgent. I thanked her and shut the door. I did not open it immediately. I stared at it, the weight of possible scenarios pressing down on me. An apology, a threat, a last-minute lie, or something worse. I sat on the bed and tore the seal. Inside was a single sheet of paper, my name, an address, a note scrawled in handwriting I recognized instantly. "You should have done more to help your brother. You left us no choice." No signature, but I knew who wrote it. My mother. My jaw clenched so hard my teeth ached. My phone buzzed again, this time an incoming FaceTime call. My parents. I did not answer. I let it ring until the sound cut off. A moment later, a text arrived. "Pick up." I did not. Another ping, then another. "Stop making this harder than it needs to be." Then, "You are acting ungrateful." Then, "You put us in a terrible position. You did this to yourself." I wanted to scream. I wanted to break the phone. Instead, I dropped it on the bed and forced myself to breathe, slow, controlled, focused. The next ping was different, a voice memo. Against my better judgment, I pressed play. My father's voice filled the room. "Mia, stop with the dramatics. You are 32 years old. You can rent a place. Your brother would have been destroyed if we did not step in. You should understand that Tyler means well. You should have been there for him." I hit stop. My entire body buzzed with something electric and dangerous. My parents would never stop trying to rewrite the truth. I needed something solid to hold on to, facts that did not bend under their manipulation. So I reopened the laptop. I scoured through the real estate records I pulled before calling Amanda. Something did not sit right earlier, and now I knew what it was. The sale price was far below market value, almost insultingly low. No way! A condo in Pacific Heights Tower sold in 48 hours for that amount? Unless someone pushed it through. Someone desperate who did not care about fairness or legality. My parents, and maybe Tyler too. My fingers hovered over the trackpad. I clicked open the buyer's contact information. Something in me hesitated, but I needed to know. I dialed. After 4 rings, someone answered, a man's voice, cautious. "Hello?" "Hi." I said, This is Mia Harrison." A long pause. The former owner? I swallowed hard. Yes, he exhaled. We were wondering when you would call. The hairs on my arms rose. What do you mean? I am sorry you are going through this, he said gently. We were told you were aware of the sale, that you approved everything. My throat tightened. I did not. He hesitated, then said quietly, We thought something was off. Your parents were extremely pushy. We only signed because the notary was present, and they said you were emotionally unstable and could not attend. Emotionally unstable? The phrase hit like a slap. Do you still have the emails? I asked. Yes, he said. We saved everything. If you need them for legal reasons, we will cooperate fully. My voice shook, even as I tried to steady it. Thank you. I do. The room spun for a second. They had not just stolen from me. They had smeared my name, lied about my mental state, told strangers I was unstable to justify their theft. I pressed both hands against my eyes until the burn faded. Then, slowly, deliberately, I opened a new email and wrote to Amanda. I have evidence of misrepresentation from the buyers. They are willing to testify. A second later, a reply came. Good. This is going to help us a lot. Get some sleep, Mia. Tomorrow we begin. Sleep did not come easily. I lay awake long past midnight, staring up at the cracked motel ceiling, listening to the hum of the mini-fridge and distant traffic. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my parents' faces, heard their voices, telling me I was dramatic, ungrateful, responsible for Tyler's mess. But beneath the grief and disbelief was something stronger. A flame that had been smothered for years was burning again. They thought I would roll over the way I always had. They thought guilt would keep me quiet. They thought manipulation would keep me in line. They thought I was the same daughter who sacrificed without question. But before dawn even touched the horizon, I already knew the truth. Tomorrow, everything would change. And this time, I was not the one who would fall apart. The sky was still dim when I walked into Amanda's office the next morning, a cardboard cup of lukewarm motel coffee clutched in my hand like a lifeline. The building's lobby was quiet, the kind of early silence that makes every footstep echo. I felt like I was walking into battle without armor, just exhaustion, anger, and a determination I had not known I was capable of. Amanda was waiting for me in a conference room with glass walls and stacks of neatly arranged files. She was dressed in a charcoal suit, her expression calm but purposeful. When she saw me, she motioned me inside. You look like you slept 2 hours, she said. I slept 0, I replied. She nodded once. Good. Anger keeps people honest. Sit. I took a seat across from her and she slid a binder in front of me. This is everything we know so far, she said. Your parents used a restricted power of attorney. They forged your signature. They misrepresented your mental state. And they rushed the sale because they were under financial. Assure? Tyler Amanda's eyes softened slightly. Yes, the buyers forwarded me the emails last night. Your parents did not just lie. They created an entire fictional narrative to justify their behavior. She clicked a remote and the screen on the wall lit up with a document. I blinked, realizing it was a screenshot of a text conversation between my parents and the realtor. Scrolling, each message was worse than the last. She will not question the papers. She is always traveling. She will not miss it. She is too emotional to handle real estate. She does not need that kind of property anyway. I felt my stomach twist. That is not even manipulation, I whispered. It is character assassination. Amanda tapped her pen against the table. They weaponized the idea that you are dramatic because you have allowed them to use that narrative for years. They counted on it. I stared at the screen. All the times they dismissed my concerns, rolled their eyes at my boundaries, brushed their mistakes onto me. It was not just bad parenting. It was preparation, conditioning. So what now? I asked. Now, Amanda said, you are going to hear things you are not ready for. She opened another file. Your brother owes a lot more than you know. My pulse quickened. How much? Amanda hesitated for the first time. We are still verifying, but the preliminary number I have is troubling. I braced myself. Say it. 85,000, mostly gambling, some predatory loans. I stared at her unblinking. 85,000 and growing, she added. He has been in debt for nearly 18 months. Your parents have been trying to cover for him without telling you. They refinanced their home, they drained savings, then they panicked, and you were their solution. The room felt smaller now, the air heavier. I did not know what hurt more, the betrayal or the realization that they had been sinking long before I ever stepped foot in Bali. I would have helped, I said quietly, if they had just asked. Amanda nodded. I know, and that is exactly why they did not ask. I frowned. What do you mean? She leaned forward, folding her hands on the table. They did not want help. They wanted control. If they had asked you directly, you would have set conditions, limits. You would have said no at some point. But this way, they could drain everything without ever facing you. My chest tightened. And they expected me to forgive them? They expected you to stay quiet, Amanda corrected, the same way you always have. I did not argue. I could not. She was not wrong. But something in me had changed the moment I saw those movers outside my building for the first time. For the first time in my life, I was not the quiet one. Amanda flipped to another page. You said something felt wrong about the sale price. You were right. They pushed the buyer into waiving inspection. They insisted on a 48-hour closing. They ignored standard procedures. All of that points to intentional fraud. I rubbed my temples. Does this mean we can reverse it? Absolutely, Amanda said, but it is not going to be clean or quick. I exhaled shakily. And there's more. Of course. She pulled up a second screen. This one showing a bank statement. Not mine. Where did you get this? I asked. Amanda remained calm. The buyers forwarded it. Your parents accidentally sent the wrong attachment while trying to justify the sale. I stared at the screen. My father's name, my mother's name, a checking account at a small local credit union, and a series of withdrawals every few weeks going back almost a year, each labeled family emergency. But the amounts each withdrawal was under 400, just small enough to avoid scrutiny. How much total? I asked. Barely breathing. Rough estimate, 30,000. And all from my account? Yes. The world tilted for a moment. I gripped the edge of the table until the dizziness passed. They have been stealing from me. For almost a year, Amanda did not soften the blow, Mia. This was not a sudden decision. This was systematic, deliberate. They groomed the situation to get exactly what they wanted. And Tyler, I forced out your brother, has been participating, Amanda said. In every step. I closed my eyes and saw his face at 16, crying after his first rejection, curled on my bed while I held him. I saw him at 20 wearing my jacket because he forgot his. I saw him at 24 asking if he could borrow $300 for textbooks. I did not recognize the person Amanda described. What about the power of attorney? I asked my mother. Said they updated it without me. They forged the update, Amanda said. You did not sign anything. My breath stalled. You mean, yes, she said. Your signature was drawn, not written. I stared at the wall, numb. Forged, sold, lied about, dehumanized, all by the people who were supposed to protect me. Amanda rested a hand on the table, firm and grounding. Listen to me, Mia. You were not weak. You were trusting. And trust is not stupidity. It is generosity. They exploited that. My voice trembled. What do we do now? We file for an emergency injunction, she said. We freeze the funds, we begin building a fraud case. But before any of that, I need you to understand something. She paused. You need to be ready for the emotional blowback. They will accuse you of betrayal. They will call you dramatic, ungrateful, selfish. They will cry. They will blame Tyler's addiction. They will say you ruined the family. I swallowed hard. They already have. Then be prepared for worse. She leaned back and studied me. You have to stay steady, clear, silent. Let me handle the fire. You just hold the truth. I nodded slowly. I can do that. Good, she said, because once we file this injunction, there is no turning back. This becomes public record. Your parents will feel cornered, and cornered people lash out. I took a deep breath. I am ready. Amanda slid a pen across the table. Then sign here. This allows me to take full legal action on your behalf. After this, your parents cannot contact you directly about anything related to the case. My hand hovered for a moment, trembling, not from fear, but from revelation. For the first time in my life, I was standing up to them. I signed. Amanda gathered the papers, already shifting gears into full strategy mode. Go back to your motel, she instructed. Rest. Tomorrow morning, we file first thing. But as I walked to the door, my phone buzzed again. A new message from Tyler. Just 2 words. Stop this. My grip tightened around the phone. Not a sorry, not a mistake, not a hint of remorse. A warning. I met Amanda's gaze. It is starting, I said. She nodded. Let it. You are not the one who should be scared. And as I stepped out into the hallway, the weight on my shoulders did not disappear, but it shifted. For the first time, I was not carrying shame. I was carrying truth. And truth was heavier, sharper, and more dangerous than any guilt they had tried to place on me. The motel walls felt closer the next morning, like the room itself was shrinking around me. I could barely stomach a few bites of a granola bar before grabbing my coat and stepping out into the cold. My energy was not nerves anymore. It was something sharper, like clarity coated in steel. Amanda had given me strict instructions. Do not speak to them. Do not respond, not even one word. But ignoring the flood of messages was like trying to ignore a fire alarm in the same room. My phone buzzed constantly as I waited in the lobby for the rideshare to Amanda's office. Another text from my mother. Mia, it is time to stop. You are embarrassing yourself. Then my father. This is not the way to handle family issues. Then Tyler, nice job making everything worse. You are pathetic. I did not respond. I just stared through the lobby windows and watched cars pass, inhaling deeply to steady myself. They still did not understand that something inside me had shifted. They still thought guilt would break me. Not today. When I reached Amanda's office, she was already standing in the doorway, holding a stack of papers thick enough to stun a small animal. Come in, she said. We have work to do inside the conference room. Every inch of the table was covered, timelines, documents, printouts, screenshots. A whiteboard displayed my name at the top, underlined twice, followed by 3 bullet points: trust, forged power of attorney, misrepresentation. Today, we build your case, Amanda said. Tomorrow, we go to court. I pulled out the chair and sat down. What do you need me to do? Tell me everything, she replied. Start from the beginning, the moment they first asked for money, the first time something felt wrong. Every call, every conversation about helping Tyler, every request that did not sit right. So I did. For the first time, I laid out every moment. I dismissed every red flag I had minimized. Every time I chose silence for the sake of family peace. Amanda listened without interrupting, jotting notes in neat, controlled strokes. When I finished, she set the pen down. Mia, she said softly, this was not a one-time betrayal. This was a long-term pattern of financial and emotional exploitation. I looked down at my hands. I let them do it for years. She shook her head. No, they conditioned you to believe compliance was love. The words hit me with more force than I expected. If you have made it to the end of this story with me, I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had to stand up to the people closest to you? Have you ever had to choose your peace over someone else's expectations? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And if this story spoke to you, if it reminded you of your own strength or your own boundaries, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. There are more stories coming, stories of betrayal, redemption, revenge, and the quiet victories that change everything. Thank you for staying with me. Here is to standing tall, even when the people who should lift you up try to tear you down.